Good morning, good morning, good morning. Getting everything all set up here so we can jump into these nuggets that we have for this Tuesday morning. So happy Tuesday. Welcome to another Tuesday morning cup of coffee with Mary May, your leadership strategist. And as I always share, before we make any tough decisions on any day, but especially on Tuesday, let's have a cup of coffee or tea, or if your vice is a smoothie, enjoy that as well. So let's chat. So the world has not the world, the weather has definitely changed since the last time that we met. It's not warm outside anymore. It's wet. It's wet as well as it is also a little chilly. So the attire and everything has to kind of shift and be a game changer to kind of move up in a different way. So, I hope that you have navigated what that looks like for you, for your family, in your home, as we, you know, go into this final quarter of the year. And so I want to say happy Tuesday to you. I want to welcome you to October 22nd and kind of encourage you, like, as you are entering in this month. It's still early in the month. May last month's things that you thought of as being failures turn into this month's achievements. Say that again. The things that you identified or felt that were failures last month, hopefully they'll turn into achievements. The way that I like to look at good morning, the way I like to look at what a failure is that it's not actually a failure as in a negative situation. It's a failure to probably the external world or what you intended to happen. However, it gave you the opportunity to learn what you didn't know. So when we talk about those 2 millimeter moves, you made a 2 millimeter step with whatever it was that you stepped into, that you chose to try, that you chose to engage in. And now you have information that you may or may not have had before stepping into that thing, whatever that goal, whatever that achievement is. So now you know more information about it than you did prior to trying it. So now this month you can nurture it, you can love on it a little bit more, and you can turn it into your achievement. So I want to again just welcome you to the conversation for what we have intentions for today, talking about leadership. And our focus nugget is silence is loud. Silence is loud. I love you back, sweetie, on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us. Um Silence is loud. How is it impacting your role in leadership? Silence is loud. It's like when I selected this topic, I was like, okay, people are like going to be like, okay, silence is loud. What does she mean? I wish we were in person together so we could do a workshop and we could plot it all out, peel back some layers, engage in different ways, because there's so many different ways in which this conversation, when you think about how your leadership role, how it is that you show up to work every day is being impacted, silence can be your kryptonite. Silence can be like that foothold that is holding you in a holding pattern. And you're wondering, okay, well, one day I'll get that promotion, or one day I'll get that opportunity that's going to kind of unlock the things that it is that I'm striving for, because it's just going to fall in my lap. And where have we ever experienced that an opportunity? Well, you might have. Then an opportunity just kind of fell in your lap. When it has, there's still been some shifts or changes or things that you needed to do to eliminate the idea that the ceiling was glass and that the ceiling could not be broken, or that there was some level of limitations that you had a perception that really jaded your ability or your way to identify if those results were real. And so when you think about how it is that you show up on a day-to-day basis, or how it is that you enter into a meeting, how it is that you guide different expectations, not only around your leveling up or your way that you have a touch in the community to being a leader, but what you do impacts or handicaps those that you serve, those that you lead, those that you are responsible for, because the only way that they can grow is from having the opportunity that's going to give them that space, that breathing room to stretch that muscle. So when you think about silence, silence can be so loud. What are you doing or not doing? What are you what energy are you putting out in regards to how it is that you interact with your teammates, with what looking at the opportunities that are ahead? Silence can be so loud because it's like, what is your biggest distraction? And on the other side, when you identify what that biggest distraction is, what is your greatest fear? Because if you followed the conversation last time, your greatest distraction is tied to what you identify as a deficiency for you and your leadership. And those deficiencies become the fear that, again, not only handicaps you, but it handicaps everyone that experiences you, everyone that's trying to learn from you, everyone that you speaking up gives you the opportunity to not only level yourself up, but level the team up. Level and do passing that torch and figuring out, okay, what is it that I could do to navigate, effectively. And so when you recognize that your silence, your choice to just allow people to push back or not give you what it is that you need, that you are not only denying yourself your personal growth, but you are denying all of those who grow from within you and from around you to also be handicapped as well. And if that is the case in regards to how it is that you're choosing to function and level up, then it kind of makes sense on why you may take the position in leadership that you just don't push back, because you have grown accustomed, unfortunately, that when you speak up, when you show your skill set at 100%, if you are in a place where you feel ignored and overlooked and invisible because your strength has now manifested into your fear, your disappointment, and into the distraction that you feel is not serving not only yourself well, but if you're going to be ignored, why share these additional things? Then you choose to have those automatic thoughts every single time that it's time to enter into a space with these same individuals and have a conversation that will serve you, but maybe not serve you to the capacity that you would like. And if you're going to feel ignored and invisible, then you begin to develop falling into the distraction, and the distraction that fuels the fear. You end up developing a manifestation of automatic thoughts that is not serving anybody. And those automatic thoughts disable your ability to see growth, live growth, dream big, have that fresh start. And it actually kind of shapes in your framework what your mindset is. And we know mindset is definitely key, but in order to have new beginnings, in order to identify, live in, stand in your grace and in your confidence with conviction that you are the leader with this opportunity that is here with a purpose and in purpose, we have to kind of take those risks as leaders to not fall into our fears, not to fall into the distractions, because that 2 millimeter breathing room, building that muscle helps you achieve the new goals. Now, we're just entering into this final quarter of the year. And so as we fall into this final quarter of the year, you position yourself for how it is that you want not only to close out this year unapologetically well, but you also set up your 2023. And so you have to ask yourself, what opportunities am I handicapping myself with that's blocking my ability to have that metamorphosis, to have that understanding that life is going to happen in conjunction, same side by side with my leadership, and that they're interchangeably impactful. But what opportunities am I leaving on the table? What conversations am I fearful to actually have? Do you identify yourself as being the target in every situation? So that's that automatic tape, that automatic messaging that you send to yourself, that as soon as you receive the call from whoever your level up manager is, or from ever the person who's reviewing your contract is, that you automatically feel like you're going to be targeted. As soon as you tell your brain that, as soon as you tell your energy that, you have already canceled out the opportunity, and your silence in that aspect becomes very, very loud, because you automatically assume, you automatically take on the assignment that you're going to be targeted in some way. You're not going to say anything because you don't want to rock the boat, or because you don't want to deal with the disappointment, and you don't want to give any like feedback. And it's like, okay, is that by design, or is that a political strategic choice that you're taking, that you think that if it makes it feel better? However, what it does is it actually guides you into not only your performance and productivity being impacted, those around you feel the energetic that you're not at your optimal level. And then because the mindset has this automatic tape that is not serving you well, it manifests into possibly some health concerns. Yes, I said health concerns, because you might have some upset stomach, some upset the headache. Your distractions could be that you need to tend to your health, but you're also struggling with you feeling like you're the target. And feeling like you are the target, that metamorphosis or those opportunities that are before you, you begin to not challenge yourself to figure out what it is that you need to do. And so in doing that, it's a matter of giving the old version of you, your old mindset, your old way of being, more intentional power, because you're not willing to challenge yourself internally to say, okay, what is it that I need to do? Because if I don't do it, or if I'm choosing to do it within silence, and kind of like navigate how it is that I'm internalizing everything, and not really opening myself up for the opportunity to have a courageous conversation, then your pushback in silence is not known what your true intentions are. Your true opportunity or skill set may be invisible. Like, no one is coming to just say, here, I just was thinking today, and I'm going to hand you this opportunity it's going to give you a raise. It's going to give you some other perks. You might have some travel, like whatever it is that your trinket is. You're not going to just get handed over that key to success. That mindset comes from how it is that you choose to break up with the things that have not served you, and that you are actually activating how you move out of your old thinking patterns and the old mental brain, the old way that you were doing things, that you overfunction. You hear this disappointing news, or you hear this undesirable outcome, and you just take ownership to all things negative, versus and taking on that opportunity of saying, oh, I'm the target always, versus what can I learn from this? What can I challenge and counter, like provide evidence of, making this a better opportunity, not only for me, for my team, but for the organization overall. That would be that true daily divorce of self, and looking at how it is that you recognize that your small daily actions are the things that's going to make you grow. The big changes that you want take small daily actions. It takes speaking up in the meeting. It takes taking that courageous, thought process of, okay, instead of thinking about the call, thinking about the email you need to send, thinking about, okay, what the outcome is going to be and trying to engineer the outcome, you embrace and say, I'm going to make the call and I'm going to receive whatever comes from the call. Meaning, if it's good, bad, or indifferent, I had the conversation. I didn't hold myself captive or handicapped by not making the call. If you need to sign up for a class that's going to help you get a certification, or it's a class that's going to give you that self care, internal self care, that's going to either build you up professionally or build you up personally, because remember, personal and professional work intertwine with how it is that you show up as a leader. So if you sign up for that class, you're giving yourself a specific time that you are focusing and building your lane of genius effectively, because not only are you signing up for the class, you have put it in your calendar with intention that you're going to attend. So you're not overthinking, what it is that you need to say, do, or whatever. You're activating, you're executing, you're not dwelling in your thoughts and ruminating over it all the time. That will be a big change that eventually can manifest from these small daily actions. If you need to quit the job, if you need to look at where your ceiling may exist at this particular address, but you think that you could effectively implement somewhere else, you apply for the new job unapologetically, because your skills are transferable. But if you automatically think that you're the target and you go through that journey of what that means for you, then you won't take the jump. You won't take the opportunity. You won't give yourself that opportunity to think outside the box that you created for yourself. If you choose by design, or you feel it's the choice that was given to you to remain silent, you choose to live in the handicapped space that you're choosing to be in. But if you also choose to execute these small daily actions that you think, overthink, rethink, talk to somebody, like, let me call somebody and ask them, should I send this, that, and the other? Let me do this and see what their opinion is. Activate your wellness. Activate your leadership. You can do it because you have the capacity to do so. So if you are outside of what makes you comfortable, everybody always says that we grow when we're outside of our comfort zone. So if you're outside of your comfort zone, it feels weird, it feels uncomfortable, it feels all things not natural to how you function. The silence is a detriment, and it's a distraction that falls into the deficiencies that you believe that you have, that you may not actually have, but you manifest them by choosing to be silent, by choosing to not activate what your next step is, by saying, okay, well, I'm comfortable here, so we're just going to stay comfortable. But when you're not comfortable and you're comfortable with being uncomfortable, you're doing everything absolutely right, because you're giving yourself that daily divorce of self where you have framed or put yourself in a box of being that target, to be able to say, okay, well, how can I really start working towards the things that I want to do, that I feel is my passion work or something that I'm really connected to, if you're not really showing that you're confident and capable and have the capacity to do what it is. So when you're outside of that comfort zone, it becomes your norm. It becomes your way to not necessarily just challenge yourself internally, but you challenge the leadership that you have of those around you who grow from you. And you also have that opportunity to stretch yourself and those who are growing from you, because you have now selected that silence is not serving me. Silence is only handicapping my ability to truly, truly be in a space that I want, in a space that I'll grow, in a space that I am willing to take these risks, because the same old day-to-day situations are not serving me well. So when you realize that and you step into what is going to be a challenge, is going to be those small daily situations, you're no longer leaning into like, okay, what's a quick hack? What's a quick way that I could fix this and put a band-aid over something really, really quick? You don't want the band-aid. You want to be authentically able to stand in your grace, stand in your strength, but you have to be able to confront, learn from, address, and identify what are those distractions. Because we talked about last week how distractions fuel that deficiency within yourself. And if you are leading from the deficient version of yourself, again, you're not only handicapping yourself by being silent, you're handicapping any of those of which you are the overseer, you are the educator, you are the leader for helping them move the needle. So when you activate recognizing that the distraction is putting you on pause, what are you really fearful of? Are you fearful of what life will look like on the other side of whatever that level up experience looks like for you? Because it may not be a promotion. It may be that you're already in your promotion and you're still trying to understand and navigate the language, the how it is you're supposed to be on this other side, because there's no rule book. There's no way to say how you internally stretch yourself to learn how to deal with management on the other side when you come to the other side of the table that you weren't on before. So you have to recognize that your wins is not being selfish, but is looking at how you're willing to do that breathing room to not speak to the deficiency, to not speak to the fear. So you have to figure out, what are you locked and loaded on in regards to how you focus and direct your goals, and not only directing your goals, but realizing that your life, your leadership, everyone who is surrounded around you in your ecosystem is your responsibility. Not necessarily from you being silent, they're your responsibility from you speaking up, from you taking that advocating role. But then it's like when you look at how the distractions come up, it challenges you to find out, where did that start? Where does that come from that you automatically see that you want to, or that you are like in a default to give more influence and more space to the distraction of not having discipline, of procrastinating, of saying, okay, well, I'll make that phone call or I'll send that email later. But what is it that you lead in being silent? What is it that you lead if you take the risk in not being silent and saying, not that you're being disrespectful, but that you're choosing you and you're choosing the growth of you, and being silent, you realize, is not really serving you to the capacity that you would like, but you're realizing that, okay, I need to do something different. I need to stretch. I always say the 2 millimeter stretch, but I need to stretch myself. I need to challenge myself in a way that is going to give me that confidence, that conviction that when I walk into the conference room, I know that my energy is speaking highly. It is speaking confident. It is speaking that you are more than capable. But you have to figure out, what is it that pulls that curtain that you say, I don't want to take the risk. I'd rather be silent. I'd rather take the positioning of being the target and being silent, because that way I don't have to deal with being yelled at. I don't have to deal with the disappointment. I don't have to deal with any of those negative things that you don't like. If those things are triggers for you, those triggers come from a place that you have maybe identified in previous experiences in life, work or personal, but you haven't identified them to move them out of the way of the curtain that hides you when you are in positioning for leveling up in your career, whatever that looks like for you. And as often as you default to what that looks like for you and hiding behind the curtain and choosing silence versus growth, then you also limit and put your own glass ceiling on your own growth. So are you willing to grow and stretch yourself and to not have that silence, that you're okay with just doing the mediocre, making your health concerns larger and your leadership opportunity smaller. Because an unhealthy person cannot take the charge of being a big thinker, because now they've competed their agenda with the fact that they have to deal with health and they have to deal with the team and they have to deal with this. Like they've added on to the things that they need to do. So, what is it going to take to push you outside of that box, push you outside of what limits you, push you outside of having that curtain continue to cover you, that you can courageously have that conversation with yourself to say, what is it that you need to step into? What is it that you need to step away from? And realizing that your life is your own responsibility and that nobody is coming to save you. No one is coming to discover you. You have to find your way that silence is not serving you so that you can unlock the silence and get snatched to your next level of leadership. Like, it's only going to take you doing that for you. And one of the ways in which you could do that is to get clear on what your goals are, clear on how it is that you show up. We're in the last quarter. And being in the last quarter of 2022, don't know how it got here so fast, but we're here. And sometimes it's like you've been living the goals, you've been living this silence, you've been living in this handicap mindset for so long, you don't know how to undo what you have not been familiar. So, like, in figuring that out, you can elect to have your leadership GPS blueprint where you identify your goals and you learn how to plan and position yourself most effectively. That you have a strategy that you can take and close out the year to position yourself for 2023 in a different situation. Or you can take a snapshot workshop that is scheduled this time. Last time it was during the day, this time in the evening on Tuesday, October the 18th at 7 p.m. It could be you could join us virtual or you could join us in person to create that visibility, confidence, that you clarify your goals, understand what your lane of genius and your expertise is, so that you can unapologetically be able to lead in the absence of silence being loud. You can lead in the absence of manifesting from this automatic thought that says that you are the target. You can lead and understand, like, what is it that I want to pull the curtain and cover myself with, and being able to stretch yourself beyond what that looks like. You will be able to walk away from that, from attending, getting your fourth quarter snatch on that conference, on that webinar on Tuesday, October the 18th. So if you're interested in that, feel free to come back to this. I'll put the post somewhere in the comments. But what are your thoughts? What is it that you are silent about? And what is it that you feel that you can grow differently? Feel free to put any thoughts, comments, questions in the comments, and I will definitely come back and share some love, share some feedback, give you some resource in regards to how it is that you choose to level up in your career, and what is it that you need to not be silent around in your leadership. It's been another great Tuesday. My quote for the day, yes, let me share my quote for the day. When you choose to not be silent and you choose to stand in your grace, you will now understand that your joy is a non-negotiable. Your joy is a non-negotiable. So the things that you have chosen to say that you're the target or the automatic thing is challenging the adverse of you finding your joy in every single moment and every single thing that you do. When it becomes your non-negotiable, it becomes your power play move of your mindset. It becomes the power play move of how you activate. It becomes the power play move of you knowing how to stand in your authority and no longer allow silence to be so loud. So I thank you all for joining me for another Tuesday Nuggets. Hope that this has served you in a way that's going to help you level up in not only today, not only completing this week, but being able to unapologetically rock out this last quarter successfully not only for yourself and the joy that it is going to bring to you, but remember, when you are at the highest level and you're working at your optimal place where the automatic tapes are not negative, those who experience you experience the same. Those who grow from you grow at their pace and at their way of the same. So when your joy becomes your non-negotiable, your joy becomes the direct how it is that you will no longer be silenced in the spaces that you have allowed to guide your path before. So I look forward to serving you each and every Tuesday with a leadership nugget. Please let me know your thoughts about this particular nugget. Those calls, those emails, those text messages are greatly appreciated. And if you find that you are ready to kind of grow and figure out how can you move from the curtain, again, the workshop would be a good thing. But if you can't wait till the workshop on October the 18th, you like, you know what, I'm ready to execute. Mary is right. I need to execute with confidence, and I need to be able to unapologetically stand with conviction and move the needle the way that I need to and have my joy as a non-negotiable. Feel free to find time in your day that you can have that breakthrough chat and grab some time on my calendar and see what it looks like for you, so that by this time next Tuesday, when we come in on these leadership nuggets, you can have the clarity and you can determine how you choose to use that breakthrough information moving forward. So until next time, have a great week. You stay safe however the weather is moving in and around you. I hope that you remain safe and that your family is all well. So until then, have a successful day and week. Take care.